Hi, this is Mr. Bernard. In this video I'm going to go over the names and purposes of the various survey markers that you're likely to use in the field. At its heart, this video is about vocabulary. So I've made this list of all the vocabulary terms that you should be able to define by the end of the video. We're going to start with corner stake. This stake is placed to mark the location of the corner of a building. Historically, this was placed by carpenters working off lines pulled along the edge of a lot. Now, more and more, especially in the city, these stakes are placed by surveyors. So there's a corner stake right there, and you'll notice that the corner stake, when I look vertically down on it, is equidistant from where the footing is. This distance right here from the stake to the surface of the footing form, that is the projection of the footing past the wall. This is an iron pin. It's one of a couple ways that the corner of a lot can be marked. Iron pins are used where the soil is soft enough to drive them into the ground. These stakes, these white stakes, are called witness marks or witness stakes. A witness stake is used to tell a person that the corner of a lot is nearby. In this case, the corner of a lot is right there. It's that iron peg with the tape on it. That's the actual corner of this lot. It's not the white stake. The white stake's just saying if you look around here somewhere, you're going to find it. Sometimes witness stakes are also used to describe the location of a corner of a lot if the corner of the lot is buried in something. Say there's a tree in the side of a corner of a lot. You can't put an iron pin where there's a tree. In that case, the witness stake will tell you not only where the iron pin is, but what the offset between the iron pin and the actual corner is. This one, the IP, stands for iron pin. Another way a surveyor could mark a location is using something called a lead plug. The lead plug is this thing right here. In the middle of the lead plug there'd be a copper or brass nail. Copper or brass doesn't corrode or doesn't rust away, so it's a good material because it'll stay there. Lead plugs are used in materials that are too hard to drive a stake or an iron pin into. So in this case, this is in a sidewalk and it's marking not a corner, but it's marking one end of a line that will go right down this property line here. The house is old, so the witness stake is gone. That's pretty typical. But the iron pin is still in there somewhere, probably buried right underneath this corner. Now what happens if an iron pin or a witness stake just disappears? You can't find it. By its very nature, a witness stake is temporary. It's just a piece of painted wood. And the iron pin's only 4 feet long. It could be pulled out too. In that case, a surveyor has to come in and reestablish those locations. A permanent location that you could use to reestablish the location of an iron pin is called a monument. This is a survey monument that was put in by the Government of Canada. You can tell because it says Ottawa right on it. These things can be placed by the federal, provincial, or municipal governments. The government body that set this monument will have a database of its location on a longitude and latitude grid and its elevation, its vertical location. A surveyor can use the location information that's associated with this monument and measure from it and reestablish the location of iron pins anywhere in the immediate neighborhood. To reestablish the location of the corner of a building, the surveyor is going to start at a monument and measure in steps. If the farther away the building is from the monument, the more steps they're going to have to make. To locate this mark in the ground is called a hub. A hub marks a survey point. This is a point that a surveyor determined the location of relative to the monument. They would have been working from the monument in a series of steps. The farther away the location they want to work on is from the monument, the more steps they have to make. To figure out the location of this relative to the monument, they're measuring horizontal distances, vertical distances, and angles. And using trigonometry, they can calculate the exact location of this spot relative to the location of the monument. Okay, this diagram shows how a surveyor can use the known location of a survey monument and step from that spot to reestablish the corner of a lot. So in other words, it's showing the relationship between a survey monument, a survey point marked by a hub, and the corner of a lot. So up here I've got my survey monument. And the surveyor will be able to measure which direction is due north very, very accurately. And so based on that, they can shoot any spot they want and just mark it by putting that mark in the ground. And as soon as they've done that, they've identified that as a survey point, and the mark is called a hub. Then they're going to measure the distance from the monument to the hub, and they're going to measure the angle between the line straight between the monument and the hub and north, and using trigonometry they can calculate exactly where this is relative to that one. Once they know where this one is, it behaves the same way that one did. So they can start from here, and they can put another survey point in somewhere else. Again, this spot would be random, but they're going to measure the distance from here to here. They're going to measure the angle between that sight line and true north, and using trigonometry they can calculate that distance. Once they've got that distance, it becomes a known point, and then they can calculate where this iron pin would be by shooting that distance and measuring angle between the sight line and true north. So in that way they can recalculate and reset an iron pin. So those monuments are really, really important. In this video I've described the various survey markers and their function. Hopefully I've clarified a little bit of what a surveyor does, and you'll find this information useful on a construction site.